Revitive is now suitable for people with osteoarthritis or diabetes. Revitive uses electrical muscle stimulation to help relieve aches and pains, reduce swelling, and increase leg muscle strength.
Revitive Circulation Booster helps me, and it could really help you too.
See in-store or visit the website for latest offers.
At Bel Air Direct, we like to keep things simple. Need some simplified insurance?
Yes, please.
Getting a car insurance quote from BelAirDirect.com is far from frustrating.
We'll see about that.
With the new Quick Quote, it's 2 times faster to get a price.
Hey, not bad.
You betcha.
And if you bundle your car and home insurance, you could save big. Plus, if you insure more than one vehicle, you save even more. And finally, if you have 35 plus years of driving experience, you could save up to 20%.
Look, Grandpa, it's you.
Now that's a happy grandpa. So let's say you've been in a fender bender. With accident forgiveness, you'll be forgiven your first at-fault accident, so your premium won't increase as a direct result, just like it never happened. Save yourself the worry. Get a quote from Bel Air Direct and you could save time and money. Call us at 1-844-210-3837.
Try more alternative energy. Try more exhilarating power. Get in. Try more.
There had never been a March on record where it didn't snow in Toronto until 2010. Downtown, the city saw precipitation, but none of it fell as snow, something that has never happened as long as record keeping began back in 1845. At Pearson Airport, it was one of only 2 marches on record where no measurable snow had fallen. It was the same story in Ottawa. About 50 millimeters of rain fell, but no snow. And in Montreal, a mere 1.4 centimeters fell, the lowest on record for March.
The Weather Network's team of meteorologists and weather presenters use raw observational data from Environment Canada to create forecasts and give you the complete picture.
You're watching Canada's Weather Network. To help you plan your activities in the coming days, here are the short and long-term forecasts for your area. upload your photos and videos, visit upload.theweathernetwork.com.
This local forecast was brought to you by Retirement Miramichi. Active, attractive, affordable. Everything you need in a retirement community.
Whether it's ferocious winds or torrential downpours, thunderstorms are one of nature's most impressive displays of raw power. There's a reason we say when thunder roars, go indoors.
Well, what we are looking at here is the initial step leader making contact with the ground and the return stroke, which actually illuminates the step leader, and that is our flash of lightning.
What's impressive about this is that when lightning strikes, it heats up the air around it and it actually expands, sending out a shock wave. Pretty neat, eh? It looks like the lightning bolt hit very close by, whether it hit a hydro line or a nearby tree. If you're close enough, you can actually feel the air being compressed and hitting you.
Always remember the 30-30 rule first of all, and when thunder roars, head indoors. Lightning can travel as far away as 80 kilometers away from the source thunderstorm. Both severe and non-severe thunderstorms can produce lightning, but lightning is always severe.
Active weather update. Speaking of too close for comfort, watch this must-see video out of Texas. Watch the lightning rake across the sky. Isn't that impressive and awesome? Big storms along the Gulf Coast. That's the cold front from the weather system that went through eastern Canada. Gave us our ice storm. Let's talk about it and the next one in this segment. Glad you're here. So as far as ice accretion in the Great Lakes this morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, still about 40,000 customers without electricity and many ice-covered roads. 25 millimeters is 1 inch of ice. So there's some significant ice in the Great Lakes. And then look at how much freezing rain we had in the Atlantic provinces. 20 hours plus of freezing rain in Moncton and central Newfoundland. 20 plus centimeters of snow to the north. You know, this system could have been much worse if it had occurred in the same complexion with temperatures and moisture content, but a month ago, because on the tail end would have come significant snows, which would have led to greater power outages for so many people. So it was a bad storm, but it could have been much worse. It's time now for an update on the next one. This is the next significant weather system we are tracking. First for Atlantic Canada. This is vorticity energy in the upper atmosphere out of Colorado, south of the Great Lakes, right out to the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean, where low pressure charges up to start this week ahead. We'll update your local forecast in 1 minute. This starts rather mild and rainy on Tuesday. If there's a fair amount of ice and snow down still, we have 2 days to melt much of it. There could be some localized flooding. This low will also intensify over Atlantic Canada, so the winds will become much stronger. Some computer modeling suggests 100K gusts, so that could lead to some damage, and then cooler air with some snow flurries on its western flank. I'll put these maps up on social media today too, and with a byline in case you miss any of them. Look for them on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, our friend the polar vortex is going to make a return. Let's move from the North Pole and we'll talk about Wednesday, Thursday of this week ahead. And then as we move towards April Fool's Day and next weekend, this charge of bitter Arctic air makes its way into Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec. Look what it does in your long-range forecast temperature trends. You can see this great fall off in the temperatures in the east. That's coming in the longer term. Now here's your weather today.
This weather segment has been brought to you by the all-new RAV4 Hybrid from Toyota.
Hi, I'm Christine McGee from Sleep Country. If I were a cartoon, I guess this is how I'd look. We're so proud to have helped millions of Canadians get a better night's sleep. Today, I want to tell you about our unbeatable price guarantee. If you see a good deal from any of our competitors and our mattress price isn't already lower, come to Sleep Country and we'll beat it by at least 5%. It doesn't even need to be the exact same bed. We'll find a similar bed and beat their price. A great bed and a great price. The perfect ingredients for a restful night's sleep.
In 2014, Ontario stopped using coal to make electricity. It was North America's largest action to combat climate change. And the power we now generate is 99.7% free of smog and greenhouse gas emissions, creating cleaner air and a better environment. Because at OPG, we know the future is our most powerful resource.
Yogurt. You know it's good for you. With up to 12 nutrients, including protein. It's either a healthy dessert or a yummy snack. What you might not know is that we are working to help improve heart health. And you can help. Every day you use the Get Enough Helper app, we make a donation in your name to the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Just one more good reason to get enough.
When active weather strikes, rely on the Weather Network to help you see and understand it better. With our new hyperlocal radar imaging, enhanced 3D, and hour-by-hour storm tracking system, we'll deliver all the weather details you want in a more visually dynamic way.
You're watching Canada's Weather Network. To help you plan your activities in the coming days, here are the short and long-term forecasts for your area. your photos and videos, visit upload.theweathernetwork.com.
This local forecast has been brought to you by Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades, Florida's Paradise Coast. Visit discoveryourparadise.com.
Seen in many backyards in Fergus, a lot of damage done. Joined by Nick right now. It's been a busy time cleaning up. A bit of a sleepless night for you as well.
Yeah, my wife and I were experiencing branches crashing against our bedroom wall all night long, and woke up to this lovely yard to clean up, so it's been a fun one.
Okay, we'll try and get some bright sunshine for you and milder temperatures to help with the cleanup, but the damage is pretty impressive. I mean, when you think about how much ice accretion there was, in some cases 30 millimeters, and how long the freezing rain lasted, in some cases over 20 hours, it is a huge mess to clean up. Here's something to think about. If this storm had have occurred with the same dynamics, the moisture, the amount of rain and ice, but in February, much colder air would have flooded in on its western flank. We likely would have had some pretty significant lake effect snows on top of all of this ice in the Great Lakes, and it would have been a much worse situation. Galloping power lines, still many people without electricity today. Sometimes you just work with what nature gives you, don't you? And our weather story continues right now. Active weather update across Canada. We'll take 90 seconds of time right now and give you an update. Let's start on the West Coast because there are some big changes coming. It's been absolutely beautiful this weekend. This past week, that's BC Ferries and some shots from West Vancouver. The cherry blossoms are out. Oh, it's nice. And it's only going to get better. There are some passing showers. There's a really sharp front that is coming on shore right now in British Columbia. CFB Esquimalt put out a couple of advisories for strong gusty winds today. And then tomorrow we'll get into some very light rain in British Columbia, a few centimeters of snow in the interior, and then a ridge of high pressure begins to build in. 50 seconds till we update your forecast this weekend. This is only going to get better and better for BC and Alberta. As a matter of fact, the warmest day this year is coming this week in Vancouver. It is. I'll show you more on my Twitter feed today. This is where we are, and you can read more about today's biggest weather stories. Daniel Martins, our web writer today, is all over this at theweathernetwork.com. Okay, Eastern Canada, guess what's coming back? The polar vortex. Remember our pal from the past 2 winters? It's not going to last a long time, but it will bring some significant cold, perhaps record-breaking cold, just after April Fool's Day for much of Eastern Canada. 10 seconds till we update your forecast this weekend, and then catch up on the latest weather stories in our next segment. But here's your weather right now.
This weather segment has been brought to you by the all-new RAV4 Hybrid from Toyota.
Get your family's story for free at Ancestry this Easter holiday. Just type in your name to get started. You can search all our Commonwealth records for free, and we'll guide you through your family tree. Ancestry Hint Leaves point out your family details to help you find their names, where they came from, and how they lived. This Easter weekend, all for free at ancestry.ca.
Having a little trouble getting into your bathtub? Wouldn't it be better if you could just step in? And a bathroom renovation is definitely not something you want to go through. So here's a thought. Why not convert your existing tub into a step-in shower? It's the simple and affordable solution from Bathway, the tub cutting people. Tub to shower in just over an hour. Go to bathway.ca or call 1-888-7-STEP-IN.
From the moment they wake up, doers don't stop. Every day is a chance to do something great. And for the ones they love, they'd do anything. Sears Optical has glasses made for doing. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
Take a closer look at Lincoln's standards of luxury and discover features that redefine driving in any season. Standard intelligent all-wheel drive to amplify control. Standard adaptive suspension that connects you to the road. And standard leather-trimmed heated seats for endless comfort. With our redefined standards of luxury, maybe it's time to raise yours. Right now, when you lease a new 2016 MKC, your first 3 monthly payments are waived. Learn more at lincolncanada.com.
The Canadian Vacation Report is brought to you by Go RVing Canada. Visit gorving.ca, your destination for all things RVing.
Oh, there's nothing like a road trip, and a lot of people taking one this holiday weekend. This is the Canadian Road Trip Report, sponsored by Go RVing. Okay, so here's the thing. We've had freezing rain in Atlantic Canada and a fairly significant snow. Northern New Brunswick, roads will be messy there today. Drive with caution. Watch for some snow in Ontario and a little burst of snow on the eastern prairies. That's about as bad as it gets, and that is the Canadian Road Trip Report, sponsored by Go RVing.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Milk-Bone, new cheese and vegetable flavors, and milk and peanut butter flavors. Treats for every occasion.
You're watching Canada's Weather Network. To help you plan your activities in the coming days, here are the short and long-term forecasts for your area. upload your photos and videos, visit upload.theweathernetwork.com.
This local forecast has been brought to you by Midas. Save on tires, brakes, oil, everything. Trust the Midas touch.
Clearly see right on this branch here, the ice formation, and it just snaps off just like that.
I was just talking with Sergeant Kerry Schmidt. He just told me that over 900 calls were received for the OPP for service since midnight, as well as over 300 collisions reported across the GTA.
Well, it's night here in Fergus, and the situation is not great. Large areas of the town are without power. In fact, most of the town is without power. All right, we've had a few branches down. I want to show you this one here. Take a look at this branch. It's come down on top of the car. It looks like the car is okay, but that is a very heavy branch, so I'm going to move it off this car for the couple here, just because they can't necessarily move it. And these branches are extremely heavy. So look at this, just downed trees right onto people's property. This one crushed the fence, and there is just so much ice hanging around here, branches everywhere. Well, this is certainly something you don't see every day. A giant light pole toppled over, presumably from the weight of the ice.
Welcome to the weekend. It's now Saturday the 26th. An update on active weather. The calm before the storm. Friday, Birchie Bay, Newfoundland and Labrador. That now lies under about a half an inch of ice. We've had an ice storm romp through eastern Canada. The details, and we'll break down who had how much ice and all of that and for how long in our next segment, plus the story of the next series of storms we need to be wary of is coming up in our next segment. Here's what we're going to talk about. A nor'easter Monday, Tuesday in Atlantic Canada. This week's going to go awesome in BC. You may break records. We have a big Colorado low, a windstorm coming into Ontario for Wednesday and Thursday of this week. And then in the longer term, I'm afraid to report that our old friend the polar vortex will usher in some bitterly cold air after next weekend. Here's where we are on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, plus our website, theweathernetwork.com, where we encourage you to upload your photos and videos. You can also do it on Twitter using the hashtag ShareYourWeather. 1 minute, and then we'll update your local forecast. Eastern Canada, storms pushing away from Newfoundland. Sun will come out today with high pressure over Ontario, Quebec, and the Atlantic provinces. The sun is warm, lots of energy this time of year. That'll start to put the melt on the snow and ice that is down. And again, we'll detail how much snow and ice has come down in the east. There's just the slightest burst of snow on the eastern prairies today. Once you get into central Saskatchewan, go west through Alberta to British Columbia, it's an absolutely spectacular day today. We are concerned about the avalanche danger rating in British Columbia. There's an unstable snowpack that's deeply buried. With the thaw that is on, the avalanche danger rating is elevated today. Okay, if you could stay for our next segment, because your weather update's in 10 seconds, we're going to talk about the return to some rain showers on the west coast, but a warming trend coming, and a couple of big storms in the east. All of that in our next segment. First, here's your weather now.
Go to theweathernetwork.com for an in-depth analysis on the science behind the forecast. Find exclusive articles straight from the meteorologists.
Save on your long distance by dialing 1010-710 from Castel. This winter, call your friends and family in Florida or overseas. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and your calls will be printed on your local phone bill. For more information or to know our international rates, visit 1010-710.com or contact us toll-free at 1010-710-00. 1010-710 from Castel, the solution for your long-distance calls.
In 2014, Ontario stopped using coal to make electricity. It was North America's largest action to combat climate change. And the power we now generate is 99.7% free of smog and greenhouse gas emissions, creating cleaner air and a better environment. Because at OPG, we know the future is our most powerful resource.
I used to get aching legs and swollen feet. But then my pharmacy recommended Revitive Circulation Booster. And without pain, I get around much better.
Revitive is now suitable for people with osteoarthritis or diabetes. Revitive uses electrical muscle stimulation to help relieve aches and pains, reduce swelling, and increase leg muscle strength.
Revitive Circulation Booster helps me, and it could really help you too.
See in-store or visit the website for latest offers.
Are you looking to retire to the East Coast? Retirement Miramichi in Miramichi, New Brunswick has been welcoming retirees from all across Canada for over 17 years, and we're ready to welcome you. With a variety of rental homes available right now and rent as low as $543 per month, you'll have more time and more money to do the things you want to do. Retirement Miramichi, everything you want in active retirement living. Visit retirenb.ca to learn more.
Start your day with us.
Join Chris and I weekday mornings and find out how weather will impact your day. The Weather Wake Up on the Weather Network, brought to you by McCafe.
You're watching Canada's Weather Network. To help you plan your activities in the coming days, here are the short and long-term forecasts for your area. upload your photos and videos, visit upload.theweathernetwork.com.
This local forecast is brought to you by the all-new RAV4 Hybrid from Toyota.
The science behind cyclogenesis, or simply the birth of a storm. There are two favored locations for storms to form, and they do so for different reasons. Spot number one, east of the Rocky Mountains. Now what happens here, as a column of air moves down the mountain, it stretches vertically and shrinks horizontally, not unlike a figure skater bringing in their arms to increase their speed of rotation. Well, this increased spin or vorticity induces lift and a new low forms. Alberta Clippers, Colorado lows, classic examples. Location number two, off the east coast of the United States, and here, temperature contrast is the prime ingredient. Warm, moist air over the Gulf Stream in contrast with the polar air over the continent, and voila, you've got a volatile recipe. And if the conditions are just right, a nor'easter is born.
Active weather update. Glad that you're here. We'll give you the details on the ice storm in the east. Then we'll take a look at the next one, the next storm, which will plague eastern Canada. But a bigger picture also shows some pretty significant changes in the weather pattern. Look at those electrical lines moving, huh? That was the wind yesterday in southwestern Ontario with all the ice down. That's why this morning at 6 there were still over 40,000 people without electricity in Ontario. This broad swath of ice accretion, generally an inch, 25 millimeters. Really from the Kawarthas over Lake Simcoe down to the Grand River Valley in Ontario. What a cold night not to have electricity, huh? Well, look what this storm did in Atlantic Canada. 20 centimeters of snow across northern New Brunswick and over 20 hours of freezing rain for Atlantic Canada. Now high pressure's building in. The day is turning better. Your weather updates in 1 minute. It's time now for the next one. The story of the next storm that we are tracking for Atlantic Canada. It begins as vorticity, energy in the upper atmosphere this weekend, tracks south of the Great Lakes and then meets with the moist, warm Gulf Stream waters of the Atlantic. This is going to start mild and rainy for you in Atlantic Canada. Think about that if you have snow and ice down. If the showers are heavy enough Tuesday, this could lead to some localized flooding. Then very strong gusty winds as the low deepens or intensifies. Likely advisories will come out for that. And then it'll go chillier with some snow flurries on its western flank. That's the next one in the east. We'll talk about a temperature change in eastern and western Canada in the long-range outlook in our next segment. Time for Share Your Weather. Some awesome pictures from this stormy weather that we've had. And you can also see the extent of some of the damage in the east as well. Here's where we are on social media. And here now is an update on your forecast today.
This weather segment has been brought to you by Yamaha. Conquer Outdoors.
Hey, why is the payment a little more than the other guys?
Hi, that's a good question. We do have a less expensive Focus, but this is the model most shoppers actually buy, with features that give it the most value.
That's a really good deal.
Yep, and you can pick the hatch or sedan for the same price. Guys, please don't drop that.
Hands-free sync. That's the Focus I want.
Happy to help. When you know you're getting great value, it's easy to get into a Ford.
The TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card is the faster way to travel because it lets you earn miles twice. And it's the faster way for Dana to become Holidana. Holidana wears bathing suits to breakfast, mingles with the locals, takes morning and afternoon naps. And Holidana tries things regular old Dana would never try. Right now, get a welcome bonus of up to 30,000 Aeroplan miles. TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card. Apply today for the faster way.
Having a little trouble getting into your bathtub? Wouldn't it be better if you could just step in? And a bathroom renovation is definitely not something you want to go through. So here's a thought. Why not convert your existing tub into a step-in shower? It's the simple and affordable solution from Bathway, the tub cutting people. Tub to shower in just over an hour. Go to bathway.ca or call 1-888-7-STEP-IN.
Get your family story for free at Ancestry this Easter holiday. Just type in your name to get started. You can search all our Commonwealth records for free, and we'll guide you through your family tree. Ancestry Hint leaves point out your family details to help you find their names, where they came from, and how they lived. This Easter weekend, all for free at ancestry.ca.
There had never been a March on record where it didn't snow in Toronto until 2010. Downtown, the city saw precipitation, but none of it fell as snow, something that has never happened as long as record keeping began back in 1845. At Pearson Airport, it was one of only 2 marches on record where no measurable snow had fallen. It was the same story in Ottawa. About 50 millimeters of rain fell, but no snow. And in Montreal, a mere 1.4 centimeters fell, the lowest on record for March.
You're watching Canada's Weather Network. To help you plan your activities in the coming days, here are the short and long-term forecasts for your area. upload your photos and videos, visit upload.theweathernetwork.com.
This local forecast has been brought to you by Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. Force of Nature is brought to you by Case IH. Rethink productivity with the new Case IH 2000 series Early Riser Planter. See your Case IH.
See right on this branch here, the ice formation, and it just snaps off just like that.
I was just talking with Sergeant Kerry Schmidt. He just told me that over 900 calls were received for the OPP for service since midnight, as well as over 300 collisions reported across the GTA.
Well, it's night here in Fergus, and the situation is not great. Large areas of the town are without power. In fact, most of the town is without power. All right, we've had a few branches down. I want to show you this one here. Take a look at this branch. It's come down on top of the car. It looks like the car is okay, but that is a very heavy branch, so I'm going to move it off this car for the couple here just because I can't necessarily move it. And these branches are extremely heavy, so...
Look at this, just down trees right onto people's property. This one crushed the fence, and there is just so much ice hanging around here, branches everywhere. Well, this is certainly something you don't see every day. A giant light pole toppled over, presumably from the weight of the ice.
Now, an update on the long-range forecast. We call it the Long Ranger. So once we finish with the Easter Bunny tomorrow, we need to talk about what the next 7 days and beyond hold. This is the Easter train. That's at Stanley Park in Vancouver. You have some showers coming for Easter Sunday, and they'll taper off Monday in Vancouver. And let's just talk about temperatures on this Long Ranger. Blues represent temperatures at and around the freezing mark. The yellows and greens represent temperatures which will climb to the mid-teens, giving you potentially the warmest weather so far this year in Vancouver. The warmest you've been is 16.4. You have 4 days in a row where the temperature is likely to get to 16. I think you will exceed that one of these days, giving you the warmest week of the year. And you know what? This warm weather does translate over the Rocky Mountains. Overnight temperatures down to the freezing mark, which is why we penciled some snowflakes into this forecast, but the daytime temperatures are pretty impressive when you consider it is the last week of March, and this is Alberta and Saskatchewan, where it can go fickle and does. By the time we get to next weekend, there is a push of much cooler air, and you will feel it most on the eastern prairies and then into the Great Lakes Basin. It's time for a visit from our old friend, the polar vortex. It's a very short-lived push, but it is a push of very cold air, which will give significantly colder temperatures, possibly record-breaking colder temperatures. It doesn't show up until the end of next weekend in the Great Lakes Basin and Quebec, but it is on its way this week ahead. In the interim, we want to watch for a very windy system middle part of the week into the Great Lakes Basin and southern Quebec, and of course we have our nor'easter on its way to Atlantic Canada. We'll monitor that very carefully for you in the Atlantic provinces. Well, now we'd like you to take a moment to watch this update on your forecast.